All of you, good morning, very good morning. Please mark your attendance. Please mark your attendance. So, did you complete? How many of you complete? Please raise your hand. How many of you finish your fifth chapter notes, coal and petroleum? How many of you start writing it? Ijaz, Faith, Anne Maria, and Sean. Dia, what about you? Dia? So today itself, you should complete the notes. Okay. Before today evening itself, before the last class, you should complete your notes. Don't make any pending. Don't make your notes pending because it will be a burden at last. So write when I send the note. Write at that time. Okay. Don't make any delay. So after the class, you can enough time to write the note before the next class, isn't it? There will be 1 hour or 1 hour gap is there. So you can write a small portion like that. So before today evening itself, you should complete your notes. Okay. Now let's have just a revision about what we studied in the chapter 5. We want to recall it. Okay. So what are the things that we studied in that chapter? Chapter 5, coal and petroleum. We have studied about resources. Mainly, there are two types of resources, isn't it? Which are they? They are natural
and natural resources.
Natural and artificial. Natural and artificial are the two main resources, and these natural resources are classified into what? Inexhaustible and exhaustible resources, isn't it? So resources are classified mainly into two, that is natural and artificial. And these natural resources, which is mainly classified as exhaustible and inexhaustible natural resource. You know about the natural resource. What are natural resource? Resource that we get directly from the nature. Those resources which we get directly from the nature are called natural resource, isn't it? So, what are the examples? Can you tell me some examples for natural resource?
Coal, petroleum, air, water.
Is coal and petroleum? Coal, petroleum is also a natural. We mind it, isn't it? And what? Air and water. Then sunlight also. Natural gases are there. And in case of these natural resources, we classify this as exhaustible and inexhaustible. That is, in case of coal, petroleum, all the sunlight, air, we classify them as exhaustible and inexhaustible. So, what all them belong to inexhaustible natural resource? What do you mean by inexhaustible natural resource? Inexhaustible means
resources are present in unlimited quantity.
Yeah, the resources that are present in unlimited quantity are called inexhaustible natural resources. Shreya, good morning. Did you mark your attendance?
No, miss.
Mark your attendance now. Shreya, did you write your notebook of chapter 5? No. Did you start writing it? Yes. So I told all of you that today, before today evening itself, you should complete your note and send to me. Okay. There is no excuse for that. It is compulsory. Before I went to my home, I want to check your notes. So before the last hour, you should send it. Okay. So we are just revising that lesson, Shreya. So you can now listen your textbook. Okay. Then we are at the topic inexhaustible natural resource. We know that it is the resource that present in unlimited amount and unlimited quantity in nature. That is, we know that air or sunlight, it is present in unlimited quantity. We can count it, isn't it? Or we can measure how much it is present in the earth or atmosphere. So that is inexhaustible natural resource. And what about exhaustible? What about exhaustible?
Resource in natural is limited.
Yeah, it is also present in the nature. but it is limited. So there is only some amount of these exhaustible substances or exhaustible resources may be present in our earth. That is, for example, forest, wild, and these can be exhausted by the humans. So those resources which can be exhausted by the humans and present in a limited amount are called exhaustible natural resources. Okay, is it clear? Yes. So, for example, like forest, then what? Coal, petroleum, all these minerals, etc., are belongs to this exhaustible natural resource. Then, next we studied about fossil fuels, isn't it? What are fossil fuels?
The remains of living organism.
Yeah, fossil fuels are also natural resource and they are the dead remains of the living organism, isn't it? They are the dead remains of the living organism and are known as fossil fuels. It is also a natural resource and we can say that the fossil fuels are called coal, natural gas and petroleum. When we study the story of coal, we know that the forest, dense forest which is buried under the soil deeply and due to high pressure and temperature, what will happen? What will happen? The coal which may be produced. Sridev, Alan, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, teacher.
Ijaz, I want to ask you that which is the which subject we studied now? Which subject? Tell me, please unmute your mic. Social studies. Is it social studies or science? Who teach you social studies? Ijaz, from June to September, we are studying these topics, and I think you don't know about science and social science. If you know about these two subjects, you will definitely say which subject we taught now. Are you write that social studies in your class test paper? I send you a voice clip now. Please turn on your mic. I need the reply. Okay, science. So we are studying science, isn't it? Did you know the first chapter of social science? Which is the first chapter? No, anybody else?
Crop production and management.
Which is the first chapter of social science? I ask you about social science, not about science. Do you know? So you don't have any basic about your subject. Okay? It is not fair. I don't allow this.
Miss, we have 3 books in
We have
3 books.
okay, history, geography, like that.
Politics.
Politics. Okay. Then who said that crop production and management? Who said that? Sridev? No. Who said that crop production and management?
Faith.
Faith? Which subject crop production and management is the first chapter?
Science.
Science. Then why you say like this? In the next August 1st week, you have your first periodic examination. Then you don't know about your subject and chapters. So that is because you did not revise your lessons. That's the reason. So I told you that every subject is important and you should know about each and every subject, the chapters that we already studied. Okay. So we are discussing about science. I am your science teacher. Then why you write social studies or anything maths like in the test paper of this subject? So don't make any mistake like this. Okay. Be careful what you are writing in your test paper or in your notebook, etc. Okay. So how many chapters we finished in our science? 5 chapters. Yes, that is very good. Your answer is correct. Okay. So 5 chapters we finished in our science lesson and our first chapter is the crop production and management. Isn't it? In the last class also I asked you about the chapters that we finished. And this is the 5th chapter that we are discussing about coal and petroleum. Please take the index of your textbook. All of you please show me your textbook. This is your science textbook, isn't it?
Science.
Yeah, science. So, please take the index page. Take the index page. This is here the contents are given. So we completed first chapter crop production and management. I think you complete all the notes of these chapters. First, second, third, fourth, and the 5th chapter's note I sent to you today evening. Before today evening, you should write it and send me. Then second chapter is what?
Microorganism friend and foe.
Yeah, microorganism, friend and foe. Then third chapter,
Synthetic fiber and plastic.
synthetic fibers and plastic. Then fourth chapter,
Material, metals and non-metal.
material, metals and non-metal. Then 5th chapter is coal and
Petroleum.
petroleum. Okay, all these chapters are there for your periodic exam. Not only this chapter, 6th and maybe 7th chapter. The 7th chapter, I don't say whether it will be in exam, but 6th till 6th chapter itself, there will be for your exam. Okay. So now take about the revision of last 5th lesson. So I don't repeat this again. Be confident in your subject, what you are studying. Then we discuss about fossil fuels, isn't it? So fossil fuel, turn on your video, Sridev and Alan. Don't turn off your video during the class. If you want to turn off your video, ask me permission. Alan? Sridev, did you write your notes? Coal and petroleum? No. Okay. Before today, you should send me. Then next topic is coal. We studied about the different properties and the characteristics of coal, isn't it? What are the main characteristics of coal? It is very hard and a black metal like a rock. It's a black material which is a black substance which is like a rock, isn't it? And there are several uses about this coal. What are they? The coal which is used as a fuel. We know that the main purpose of coal is it is used as a fuel, isn't it? In cooking of food. And it is also used in railway engines to produce steam to run the engine. So what are the uses of coal? Used as a fuel for cooking food, isn't it? Then used as a fuel in train engines. Okay, then also coal is used to produce electricity in thermal power plants. The other important use of coal is it is used to produce electricity in thermal power plants. And also coal is used as a fuel in various other industries. So these are the main usefulness of coal and some useful products like it. Which are the products that we obtained from coal when it is extracted? Which are the products? Yeah, yes, Sean, tell me.
Coke, coal tar, coal gas.
Yeah, coke, coal tar, and coal gas. We also studied about this. And coke is which is similar to like that of a coal in appearance. Okay, so it is a rocky, tough, porous, and a black substance, and it is pure form of carbon. Okay, in the last I said that in the last class, main component of coal is what? Mainly consists of which element? Coal.
Carbon.
Yeah, very good. Shreya, carbon. That is why it is appearance in a black color. That also like coal, but coke also contains what? Carbon. It is a pure form of a carbon, which means there is no other elements like anything is present. It is completely pure form of a carbon. Then it is mainly used in the manufacture of steel and in the extraction of many metals. So, what is the use of this coke? Used for to produce steel and also for to extract many other metals. Okay. Dia, are you there?
Yes, miss.
Dia, I feel a blur in your camera is not properly working.
Yes, miss, not working.
Then coal tar. Next one is the coal tar, isn't it? What about coal tar? Coal tar?
It's a black liquid.
Yeah, it is a black thick liquid with an unpleasant smell. You know about coal tar, isn't it? Has an unpleasant smell and it is a black liquid. And it is frequently used in the manufacture of dyes. What are the uses of this coal tar? It is used in the manufacture of dyes, perfumes, drugs, explosive, plastics, paints, photographic materials. So you study each and every points like this, point by point you study. Then you understand the lesson well. Okay. Then it is also used in metalling the rods and the synthesis of naphthalene balls to repel insects and moths. So which coal tar is again used in metallic rods. I told you that there is a coal tar nowadays. Which petroleum product is used in place of coal tar for metallic rods? One word question. I told you a name. A petroleum product which is used in place of a coal tar for metallic rods.
Bitumen.
Yeah, bitumen. That is the right answer. That is nowadays we do not use coal tar, but what we use bitumen. Bitumen is used for metallic of rods, and it is a petroleum product. Okay, don't forget the name bitumen. It is definitely asked in the examination. Okay, very important. Then another product that is coal tar and coal gas. Coal gas is also a product of or it is also an byproduct of a coal or exhaustible substance. The coal gas which is also obtained during the processing of coal and it is used in fuel. It is also used as a fuel in many industries situated near the coal processing plants. So it is used as a coal gas is used as a fuel in coal processing. Okay. Then our next topic that is, what is the next exhaustible substance?
Petroleum.
Yeah, petroleum. Then what do you know about petroleum?
Petrol and diesel are obtained from natural resources called petroleum.
Yeah, petrol and diesel. They are the natural, which is obtained from a natural resource called what? Petroleum. So from petroleum, we obtain this petrol and diesel. And we are familiar with petroleum refining. Petroleum refining means the industries which are used to refine this petrol, or the process which are used to refine or extract petroleum. The process of separating various constituents or fractions of petroleum is known as refining. So I think there is a table given in the textbook. That table is also important, which tells about various constituents of petroleum. Okay, so we said that petroleum refining is a process in which separating different constituents or various constituents from the petroleum. Okay, so what are the constituents when we separate or by petroleum refining? What are the constituents we obtained from petroleum? Which are the constituents? First one, LPG, that is liquefied petroleum gas. For what purpose we use LPG? What?
Fuel for home and industry.
Yes.
Yeah, to cook food. You know that in all your home there will be an LPG cylinder, isn't it? So a liquefied petroleum gas, it is a what? It is a, tell me, Faith. Liquefied petroleum gas, what is that? It is a, unmute your mic.
Petroleum.
Yeah, it is a constituent of petroleum. Okay, it is a constituent of petroleum, and also there are several other constituents. What are they? Petrol. What?
Petrol.
Petroleum.
gas alle.
Petroleum gas. That is LPG.
Mm.
Liquefied petroleum gas, which is from where we get this? It is extracted from the petroleum or by refining petroleum. So it is a constituent, isn't it? When we refine petroleum in industries, we get certain constituents or we separate certain constituents. These constituents include what? These petroleum gas, LPG, kerosene, petrol, diesel, all these are the constituent of petroleum. Understand? Okay. Then there are several uses of other constituents like petrol, kerosene, diesel, lubricating oil, paraffin wax, and bitumen is given there. So this table is also important. Study this table. Okay. Then finally, we said that some natural resources which are limited, and also how to conserve this petroleum and diesel while driving. The last main points, last 4 points are given in page number 61. Did you see that? It is about how we can conserve this petroleum while driving or diesel while driving. What are the main points? How can we control?
Drive at a consist and moderate speed as far as possible.
Okay, all of you please look in your textbook and read that. Drive at a constant and moderate speed as far as possible. Then switch off the engine at a traffic lights or at a place where you have to wait. So if you want to wait, you should switch off the lights of your vehicle or switch off the engine and of your vehicle. Then ensure correct tire pressure. We want to change the tire in a particular interval, isn't it? Or want to check the tire pressure for what? To save the fuel. Then ensure regular maintenance of the vehicle. Also, it should be, the vehicle should be maintained. Otherwise, what will happen? More fuel will be consumed. Okay. So these are the main points and main topics that we included or we discussed in this chapter. Did you have any doubt? So you recall all this lesson, isn't it? Then will be exercise also. I will send the exercise questions after you sending your notes. Okay, then only I send this exercise question. Because when I send all these questions, what will happen? You feel just like a burden. There will be a lot to write. So before you write, after you writing your notes that I sent on Tuesday, then I send, after that I will send the exercise questions. Okay. And exercise questions you should write on tomorrow, before tomorrow evening. Today evening itself you should write your note, complete your notes. Okay.
This exercise is also completed.
Exercises you completed. You write it in your notebook. No. Write in the textbook. Okay, we'll discuss in the last exercise that we discussed in the last class, and in the 9th question, I told you that you can draw a graph regarding that table. You told me that you know how to draw a graph, isn't it? Did anybody don't know to draw a graph? Please raise your hand if anybody don't know. Nobody. So you all of you know to draw a graph, isn't it? So after this class, please draw a graph and send me in my personal number. It is a rough figure enough. Okay. So you can either draw in your you can draw in your notebook. There is no space in the text, so you can draw in the notebook. Just a rough figure of showing the year. Where you want to show this year? Plot shortage percentage for the years on the y-axis and year on the x-axis. So you should mark the years on the x-axis. How x-axis is drawn? It is drawn horizontal and vertically is the y-axis. So mark the year on the x-axis and in the vertical position you can mark the shortage percentage. After that mark each point based on the year, then draw a graph. Okay. So any doubt? Yes, Sean, do you have anything to say?
Miss graph book varcha kodundu.
You have graph book with you? For which subject?
Max.
Maths. Then you just draw this figure in the back side of that graph, in the back page. Okay. Don't draw in between the maths problems. So you can draw at the back page. Okay. So after drawing, you can send to me. Then, shall we move to the next chapter, combustion and flame?
Yes, miss.
So I think you now know about all the chapters from 1 to 5. Study well. In maybe in the periodic examination, not multiple choice questions like a Google form. The last terminal exam is there now. In that exam, you are filling the Google form. But maybe in this semester examination, you will have a written question answers. Okay, descriptive type of question answers will be there. So it is very important to study the question answers very well. Otherwise, you can't write. Maybe 2 mark or 5 mark questions like that. Okay. So study well. Don't study only one words. One words is also needed, but extra. Now, please take your text. Chapter 6, combustion and flame. What do you mean by combustion? Do you like crackers? Do you like firecrackers? What is crackers? What do you mean by crackers? Yeah, padakam. Did you like it? At what occasion we firecrackers? New Year, during the time of New Year. Any other celebration? Yeah, Christmas. Any celebration we enjoyed cracking?
Deepavali.
Yeah, crackers. We like all like a crackers, isn't it? So, do you know what is the process during these crackers will happen? What is the chemical process happen there? It is the combustion. That is, crackers are made of chemicals, isn't it? It is not naturally. It is made by chemicals. That is why strong explosion will happen. So we know that these crackers are made of chemicals, and the process like this, that is the process, chemical process in which a substance react with the oxygen. What will happen if we burn a cracker or if we fire a cracker? It will react with the atmospheric oxygen. Then after the reaction happen, it will crack or it will blast like a big sound. Isn't it? Very loud noise. So this is the term combustion, which means, to understand what is combustion. It is a chemical process when a substance that reacts with the oxygen, and that is called combustion. And the next term, what is flame? What is flame? That you all know.
Fire.
Flame. Flame means a lightning. That is a fire. We can say that fire or simply a lightning. That is flame. So in this lesson, we are discussing about this combustion and the flame and overall and this chapter is something big chapter which contains more content. Okay, did you see the lesson completely? Please turn on the please take the other pages also. So there is a big lesson, this combustion and flame, but it is interesting and we can study it easily. So please listen, textbook page number 64, the first page of the lesson. Combustion and flame. I just read the and take a pencil when I am reading. What is that sound? Did you feel any sound?
No, Miss.
Okay. So I will just read just an introduction. Combustion and flame. We use different kinds of fuel for various purposes at home, in industry, and for running automobiles. Can you name a few? Can you name a few fuels used in our home? Name a few fuels used in trade and industry. What fuels are used for running automobiles? So did you know about any fuels? Tell me, we studied about a fuel in the just now.
Petroleum.
Yeah. Then other examples.
Coal.
Yeah, coal.
Wood.
Wood is a fuel.
Coal tar.
No, coal tar. Okay. Petrol, diesel.
Diesel.
Yeah,
Kerosene.
natural gas, isn't it? The topic that the main topic that we studied in the last class, all these are used as a fuel. So you know about fuel and what fuels we are used in running automobiles. We know that it is a petrol and a diesel, isn't it? Then your list will contain fuels like cow dung, wood, charcoal. Okay. This can be also used as a fuel, but it is a natural, isn't it? Cow dung and wood, all these are naturally occurring, but others contains naturally but exhaustible. Okay, and these all are also exhaustible. Cow dung, wood are is it exhaustible or inexhaustible? What about all these things? Cow dung, wood, is it exhaustible?
Yes, Miss.
Exhaustible, isn't it? Because we can exhaust it. So we can say that all these are exhaustible. And you are familiar with the burning of a candle, isn't it? So you are familiar with burning of a candle. What is the difference between burning of a candle and the burning of a fuel like coal? Maybe you were able to guess right. Candle burns with a flame where coal does not. We know that candle just flame like a flame and that coal does not. And similarly, you will find many other materials burning without flame. Let us study the chemical processing of burning and the type of flames produced during the process. So we are studying in this chapter the chemical processing of this burning. Okay. Then next, what is the main? That is the main topic in this lesson. What is combustion? I told you about the combustion, isn't it? Recall the activity of burning of magnesium ribbon performed in class 7. Do you know how a magnesium ribbon burns? No, it's just like a crackers that burning of magnesium. There is a figure shown in the textbook, isn't it? We learned that magnesium burns to form magnesium oxide and produce heat and light. When we burn this magnesium, light will be produced and also heat is evolved. We know that if we burn anything, what will happen? The reaction, after the reaction, there will be light and heat will be evolved, isn't it? So when magnesium burns, what we produce? Magnesium oxide will be produced. How? Because it combined with the atmospheric oxygen. When a substance which combines with the oxygen, its oxides will be formed. So magnesium ribbon, when we burn, what will happen? It react with the oxygen and its oxide will be formed. So magnesium oxide will be formed. Understand? Okay. Then we can perform a similar activity with a piece of charcoal. Hold a piece with a pair of tongues and bring it near the flame of a candle or a Bunsen burner. What do you observe? We find that charcoal burns in air. We know that coal too burns in air, producing carbon dioxide, heat, and light. So all these substances like a magnesium, coal, or what charcoal, all these burn or react with the oxygen or air and form what it evolves heat and light. Isn't it? Then that is the process of combustion. Please underline what is combustion. That it is a chemical process. Combustion is a chemical process in which a substance reacts with oxygen to give off heat. A substance is reactive with the oxygen to give off heat. It's called combustion. Okay. Understand? So we can wind up this class, and in the next class we can see. Before that, what do you want to do? I told you. What do you want to do?
Complete notes.
Completing notes. Also, you should draw a graph. This is the two homework that you want to do now. In between each class. Okay, there is a time in between each class, 1 hour or 1.5 hours like that. So you can do your works in that time. Okay, all of you, we can see in the next class. Our time is over. Bye.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Have a nice day.